Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Horizon on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. My name is Derek Yale, and let me take this time to wish you all a happy holiday and Merry Christmas. And from this network to you and your family, we hope that you had a lovely time spending it with your family. And this evening, I have with me in the studio the Lord Mayor of Bentor, and we will be shooting the program together. So welcome to the Horizon, the Lord Mayor.
Thanks for having me, Derek. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And for the Horizon this evening, before I say anything, I would like to encourage you to go on your social media page and share the program on Facebook and follow the network on Facebook and YouTube as well. And as far as this episode 5, season 2 of the Horizon, we would like to begin this episode by observing a moment of silence for the death of the standard bearer and the standard bearer and political leader of the People Liberation Party, Daniel E. Cassell, who lost his life on Christmas Day. So we'd like to do a minute of silence for the passing of Daniel E. Cassell. Thank you very much. And so, yeah, on December 25th, Daniel E. Cassell lost his life. And I would like to just read a little bit about him before we can extend condolence to the family. So, of course, he was the political leader and the standard bearer of the People Liberation Party. He was born on January 8th, 1966, and he passed away on Christmas Day this year. He was a Liberian psychologist, a business consultant, and politician. And he was the founding member of the the People Liberation Party. And as far as politics, he announced his intention to run for president in Liberia in the 2023 elections. And he worked as a behavioral specialist consultant in the Philadelphia area and in Bucks County areas in the United States. He was a statesman, and people that know him says a lot of good things about him. And as far as his relationship goes with this network, he had a very good relationship with the Liberia Radio and Television Network family. So I would like to use this opportunity on behalf of this network to send condolence to his family, to his friends, and the People Liberation Party. We hope that you found solace during this time of bereavement, and we pray that the God of comfort will comfort all of you during this time of your loss. And as far as current event is concerned, the Delaware County Council appointed Mr. Don Pye Dennis on Delaware County Immigrant Affairs. And also, President Joe Biden passed an executive order on establishing the President's Advisory Council on African Diaspora Engagement in the United States. And for current events in Liberia, we would like to report on a very unfortunate event. A Liberian man set his girlfriend's family house on fire for being jealous. So that's a very unfortunate event. And also on Christmas Day, the Vice President of Liberia, Her Excellencies Dwight Howard Taylor Jones Jetty to feed over 5,000 inmates, children at the Monrovia Central Prison. That is a very good gesture. And last but not the least, the court summons LBDI Bank former President Doe Delaney for slander and libel. That's what we have for you tonight on our current events. And at this point, I would like to introduce my panelists back to the show. And of course, we have here with us the Lord Mayor of Bentor, but I would like to use this opportunity to have our Bloje and welcome him to the show. Bloje Choppy Charlie, welcome to episode 5, season 2 of The Horizon.
It's very, very good to be back, and my deep sympathy to the Cassell family.
Thank you very much, Bloje, and it's an honor to have you back with us, Bishop Haggard. Welcome to episode 5, season 2 of The Horizon.
Well, thank you so much. I'm very happy. Merry Christmas to the entire team. And I'm also mourning deeply because Cassette was very close to me. And we are mourning so heavily for the loss of such a wonderful, patriotic Liberian, a political leader, and aspiring presidential candidate. We are really mourning the loss, untimely death.
Thank you very much, Bishop Hager. And let me come to you. The Lord Mayor of Bentor. We have you here in the Liberia Radio and Television Network studio. And let me just say it's an honor to have you, and it's an honor to do this program by your side. And let me officially welcome you to the Horizon panel.
Merry Christmas to you, Derek. Merry Christmas, Mr. Anderson. It's a little cold here in Philadelphia. But on a serious note, I just want to express the same sentiments of my fellow panelists to extend our condolence to the Cassette family. I mean, it was on Christmas Day we heard the news, right?
Right.
And we're going through my Facebook page, and I saw rest in peace. I thought it was sort of a joke, but only to find out that yes, indeed, Cassette was deceased. I mean, it's unfortunate. He did a lot of good things for Liberians in a relatively short period of time. So I'm hoping that the family can find some closure, and we lost a very good Liberian. And I just want to say, I'm just devastated, as like many people out there. But thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Bobby. And like our panelists have voiced, we to the friends, to the family of the late Dr. Daniel E. Cassell. We would like to again extend our condolence. He was indeed a very good man. Liberia lost a very good statesman. He was a very good person and a very good statesman. So we would like to extend our condolence to the family. Go ahead.
I think he was the only presidential candidate that visited the studio, right?
Yes. And thank you. Yeah, thank you for he once visited the studio. So the LRTN family too lost a great person in that Daniel E. Cassell. So we extend our condolence. But moving on to the program, we will like to urge you watching us. You can leave your contribution in the comment sections, and in the comment section, and you can also follow the network on Facebook and YouTube. We will take a very brief break, and when we come back, we will be talking about the issues at the Rabat International Airport. So let's take a brief break, and we will see you after.
At Fatu's, we know what it's like to feel a little homesick. That's why we work hard to bring you the very best and freshest imported foods and supplies from home. With quality design African cloths, beauty supplies, and tasty African food items, you'll feel right at home. So what are you waiting for? Stop by Fatu's African International Market for all of your household and family needs. See you soon.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're watching us from. This is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. We are bringing to you another episode of The Horizon. My name is Derek Yalley, and I'm here. My co-host for the night is the Lord Mayor of Bentor, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. And let's get right into our conversation tonight, the challenges at the Rabat International Airport in Liberia. So just recently, Connex Energy, the supplier of jet fuel in Liberia, announced that there is an aviation fuel scarcity in several countries in Liberia, in the region. It is affecting Liberia, and so because there is a shortage of jet fuel in Liberia, and also we know just recently, SN Brazil canceled flight to Liberia over safety concerns, and there were also some concerns about electricity at the airport. So there has been a lot of different issues that involve our international airport. So let me bring this conversation out to our panelists, and so we can have their thoughts on the challenges at the Rabat International Airport. And that's the conversation for the night, but you can leave us your contribution in the comment section. Feel free to do that. And of course, I'd like to encourage you to share the program on your Facebook page and any of your social media platform as well. But let me start with you, Blue J Choppy Charlie. I'd like to do you that honor tonight so you can start us off with the conversation concerning the challenges at the airport.
Well, again, let me say thanks again for having me here tonight, and to our audience out there, for keeping the show alive, watching. And let me again extend my deepest heartfelt condolence to the family of our own brother, Cassell. Cassell was a good human being, despite his politics. He was running for political office in Liberia, but we all can agree that he was a good person. And the loss is not just to his family. I think a lot of people in Liberia are feeling this loss because of the good work that he was doing in Liberia. So I deeply mourn his passing and really send heartfelt greetings or condolences to his wife and family. On that note, concerning the robbers' fuel or the question in Liberia about the situation with fuel, I think the answer is self-explanatory. The problem is not a Liberian problem. It's more than Liberia. I mean, it's a regional problem. It's a global problem, as it's being stated. But when we look at most of these problems that is happening in Liberia now, we can only look back at why we having this problem. As a student of project management, when you approach a problem solving or nation building from a project management perspective, you have to be able to ask questions about why, as a country, are we even having these type of challenges. And sometimes people will say, oh, the current government, George, we are, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, blah, 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 blah. But the reality here is that if the country was in such an organized fashion before this government came to power and things were running in a manner that any organization should run functionally, these type of problems will be easily addressed. But we have a situation where we are solving legacy problem in the country. Bad legacy problem that existed 200 years ago, problem that existed 40 years ago. And so we are trying to multitask, solving bad legacy problem at the same time trying to innovate and develop. It's not an easy thing to do with squeezed budget, with minimum revenue available. So it's very difficult, and I do sympathize with the government. I do sympathize with the president solving these kind of difficult problem, difficult challenges, deep problem, nation building problem, especially where we don't produce fuel in Liberia. We don't produce gasoline. Despite Liberia is wealthy, we have a lot of oil wells in the country, but our friends from the last government, the Unity Party, or Joseph Boga Unity Party, sold all of our oil wealth. The market is 17.
Thank you. Let me hold you right there, Blow J. Let me come to you. Can you hear me? I will come back to you, Blow J. You said a lot of interesting things, and I will come back to you to build up on that. But let me come to you, Bishop Hager. The issues with the Rabat International Airport. Let me give you the opportunity to give us your introduction on that conversation.
Thank you very much. I want to start with government is continuity. And if you are in opposition and you are elected, you are given a mandate because the Liberian people believe that you have new ideas, better ways of doing things, so they give you state power. Every time I hear my friend and brother Blow J alluding to the past government, it's unfortunate. I just want to let him know that when the past government took over, there was nothing they call the airport. the Warren International Airport was completely in chaos. When the government was turning over to the CDC, they left a modern airport. And during the 12 years of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, you may not like her, but she brought in competent people. Those 12 years, we never heard, even though when we started, when the Ellen Johnson City administration started, they started with a budget of less than 400 million. They raised the budget to almost 700 million for the country. But we never heard about fuel shortage or power going up, even though it was a very difficult economic environment that the airport was operating. A lot of flights, a lot of airlines came into Liberia. In fact, they have a very important management team that were going and trying to bring the airport at the level of international standard. So today, I want to agree, yes, Bloje alluded to it being a global problem where there is scarcity, but this is a very strategic product. In other countries, they will have a allocation for reserve so that you don't have those kind of issues coming up. So I will allude the problem right now to the Warren International Airport, to huge incompetence of the management staff, and they really don't understand. If you have a president who would appoint a guy who was here just a certificate holder to be the director of the airport, if thank God to the Senate, they never endorse him or did not give him that position, then you understand that they are joking. President Weah and his management team are joking. They lack every level of competence, and the problem will just get worse until we have replaced that incompetent government with qualified people that understand what they are doing. Nothing going to change. They're going to get worse.
Thank you very much, Bishop. And just to highlight some of the things that you said, and I will come back to both of you to tie those things in. You mentioned in response to Bloje blaming the previous administration that you never heard of any of these current challenges that the current administration is facing. So you're saying that none of those things happened during the previous administration, but Bloje is saying that the problem actually started from there. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And you also put this on huge, in your words, huge incompetence in the management team of the current administration. So I just wanted to highlight that, and then I would like to come to you, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. Let me give you the opportunity to give us your introduction on the current discussion on the challenges at the Rebels International Airport.
Thank you, Derek. For me, the situation on the airport is a little questionable because a significant portion of my childhood was spent in the Smith Notice era. I was there in 1990 when Chancellor Rebel attacked and destroyed the airport. I was in our living room. My siblings and I were actually looking at the airport burning. And I played soccer on the deserted airfield along with Master Junior Opata Lawrence, so I didn't go far. So all of my Smith people, we used to call the place the base. The airport was the base. For some of us, it's personal to see that entity or that beautiful building destroyed. And today, the flight like Pana, Swiss Air, not landing no more, and then the other airlines are trying to cancel. It breaks my heart. But earlier, the bishop said something that struck a nerve. It has to do with management. I understand there are logistical constraints when it comes to the supply of jet fuels. But any good and responsible management team will have reserve. That's when inventory management comes in. A lot of the things that are happening with George Weah government, if we criticize and talk about it, it has nothing to do with all criticizing because we want to criticize. Some of these things can be solved just by basic management. Derek here, he dwells in management. He knows how things operate. And if you are the hand of an airport of that nature that is considered a gateway, not just a free port, the gateway to Liberia's economy, you would think you would be on top of your A game. So what George Weah has done over the years he has been president, people that he elected to the offices or to that office for that particular matter are not people that are schooled in managerial, skills. They lack the managerial skill to run an airport of that nature. And believe it or not, that airport brought in more money. If you see today, the government budget has gone up, skyrocketed from 500 million to 700 million. The airport brought, if you check the Liberia Revenue Authority, some of the vouchers that came from that airport. So you would think the George Weah government will prioritize that, not just the airport, but the road situation. The Bashi road situation. It's a death trap. Just a month and a half ago, we had a Chinese company. They went and met the Senate, and they said they know all of the necessary logistics to complete the road. Why did they give them the contract in the first place? So if we criticize these things, our criticism are legitimate. There was not enough vetting process. The only airport that we have and the road connecting to that airport is in a deplorable condition. We understand you're trying to fix the road, but there should be a time limit. And now you have holes everywhere. So besides the jet fuel issue, people are impeded with traveling to the airport to begin with. So it's just adding insult to injury. And there's nothing the government is doing at this time to address that. It's only going to get worse. So it's unfortunate for some of all that grew up in the Rafi era to see that national treasure is not being managed in the way that's supposed to be managed. And I'm hoping, it's not hyperbolic, it's not criticizing the George Weah government. I'm hoping he will start playing soccer and issuing whatever private part and at least pay attention to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. And Lojo, let me come back to you, and I'll give you the opportunity to respond to Bishop Haggard. And if you can, for our audience, you can respond to where he said that huge incompetence and also that the challenges that the current administration is facing was never experienced by the previous administration. But I would also like for you to address what Bobby just said, that the staff at the management level of the RIA lack managerial skills. I would like for you to address that.
Is the deep blusters that we see being offered here can only represent misunderstanding. That's all or I can represent, because the assumption is that people know what they're talking about. And anybody who knows what they're talking about, you're talking about airport operations and management, especially attached to international factors where one does not control the international market forces. It's laughable that we hear the kind of criticism coming from our friends. The issue was stated clearly that this is not a Liberian problem. Is beyond Liberia. There's a causing factor, economics. For those who are studying economics.
But Bloje, here's the thing. Let me. Other countries, we understand that part about the scarcity of jet fuel.
Bobby, yeah, but I want to protect Bloje.
When the scarcity is beyond the reach of a nation, to assign that scarcity to a national managerial problem, there is so lack of understanding of the problem, because it's not unique to Liberia. It's not just Liberia having this problem. So that argument itself falls flat on its face. And also the thing that the perception here that during the Unity Party 12 years we did not have this kind of problem is another joke. Liberia, the governance problem in Liberia is a bad legacy problem we're dealing with. We're trying to fix problem that other people created and left behind. Nation building cannot be in the shortest possible time.
I'm sorry, let me interrupt you. So
we have compounding problems.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So you're saying the previous administration had this problem and left it unsolved?
Of course, these problems were left there. I mean, the very wireless fee were not left or in a very functional operational state. The problem left there, these problems are ongoing and they are multiplying. So you have legacy problems that that the government inherited and dealing with a legacy problem, and then you have going concern, ongoing problem in the face of not in a competing national priority in the country with a small financial envelope. So you have a country where the financial space is small and the problems are triple, or I don't know how quadruple problems, and you're trying to manage such a small envelopes of revenue space to address problems. You will always be putting fires on. What we are doing in Liberia, or what we're doing now in Liberia, is we're just patching up things because the groundwork that should have been situated for this government or any government that would have come after the last government, that work was not done. So now we almost like starting a nation over.
Excuse me.
Thank you, starting a nation,
Thank you, Bloje. Let me give you. You want to?
No, I'm coming in. I have to come in.
I'll come to you. Let me give Bobby 30 seconds.
All right,
I'll come to you.
Let's do some high zoom here. I know it's cold here in the Philly area.
Let's get it on.
Let's do this. Logic. That whatever logistical constraint about there being a shortage of jet fuel, you're trying to use that as a lifeboat. But guess what? Liberia is not the only country that is facing that. They are experiencing the same in Nigeria, Ghana, and all the other different African countries. But there has not been a point in time where there's flight cancellation or where the plane will land and they're not able to provide jet fuel. That in itself is a management problem. That's what we're trying to talk about. But you just fixated on this. And your attempt at being a subject matter expert is falling flat on the face. You know nothing about airport management, and you're just trying to find excuses for the people that are managing the airport. There is not a single editorial in Liberia newspaper during Ellen time, and I'm a fan of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, not by any stretch of the imagination, that said during your administration there was cancellation of flights. They had no jet fuel. It was only during George Weah time that we've been experiencing this. We can go as far back as 7 years. It never happened before. So if it's not happening now in the midst of budget surplus, so to speak, during Ellen time, the budget hovered around 500 million. Now you guys have 700 million to play with, and we're having jet fuel issue. It's about priorities. You understand? It's about management. It's about good governance.
Thank you,
and that's what we're talking about here. It's not about scarcity or jet fuel around the world. All of African countries are experiencing that, and yet they are running a smooth operation. I just wanted to establish that. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bobby. Let's come to you, Bishop Hager.
Yeah, thank you very much. Every time I listen to Bloje, he's always contradicting himself. Bloje want to let the Liberian people know that we have a limited financial space, and the government is trying to cover us, dig hole and cover our hole. It's the same Bloje that came here and defending a president taking 2-month vacation with over 50 men dedication in paying them, and he said there was no problem. He never spoke on the issue. Okay, the nation have financial issue. Let's prioritize our spending. But you were here arguing and defending. Listen to me. These guys don't really know what they want to do. They have no idea. Bloje is telling me here and want to tell us when Ellen turned over to George Weah was given the opportunity before the Liberian people to audit the government. He refused to do. He turned around and they asked him, can you grade the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government? What would be your grade? He gave Ellen 80%. He said Ellen did extremely well. So when Bloje come back, and because they have failed miserably, they have no idea what to do and tell us, say, oh, it's because of the past government. Listen to me. Let me give you an illustration. Let me give you an illustration.
Let me ask you a question.
I just want to give you an illustration.
No, I'm coming. I want to ask you a question on your train of thought.
Yes.
I want to ask you. I want to keep you on our train of thought. Bloje just said that these challenges that the current administration is facing, they are challenges from the previous administration that were unsolved. Can you tell if that information is accurate or inaccurate? Because you
very much inaccurate. very much in agreement. When Ellen turned over to George Weah, Ellen presented, I think a week before she finally left office, she turned over the newly constructed terminal building of the Raleigh International Airport. I will also bring back to Bloje. In 2014, when Ellen went to the president of Equatorial Guinea, and Equatorial Guinea president gave $55 million to help Ellen to build that airport, CDC government, CDC people, CDC party make a press statement that the money that came from Equatorial Guinea was not good money because the man is considered to be corrupt. That your money, that the same money now today, they are benefiting from the airport. Let me tell you, these people really don't understand. They don't know what they are doing. They are incompetent. We got to vote them up. Let me tell you something. If Liberian people will really let this government, their country is going nowhere. It will never go anywhere. I tell you.
We're out of time, and I would have to come back to Bloje because your statement you made was challenged earlier. So I'll give you 30 seconds to close out on this conversation, Bloje.
Look, the reality here is that, since 2007, and this is not my saying, these are research that has been done by very respectable international organizations. The Liberian port, where you should bring in huge consignment of fuels, whether jet fuel or other fuel, has not been dragged since 2007.
You just stop talking. Stop it. I will not say yes. Stop it. Don't deceive the Liberian people. Don't deceive the Liberian people. They're incompetent. Please don't do that.
Let's protect.
Since 2007.
You got 30 seconds.
As a result of that failure since 2007, we should have created enough space to bring in fuel. Over a period of time, we have had in what we call cascading decline in fuel preservation. Since 2007, that was not George Weah government at the time.
We are out of time, Bloje. We are out of time.
2007.
We are out of time, Bloje, and we're out of time for this conversation. So let me, again, to those of you watching us on Facebook or YouTube, you can leave us your contribution in the comment section, and we will take a break right now, and you're watching the Hard Zone episode 5, season 2. And my name is Derek Gallagher. This is the Liberia Radio and Television Network. We'll take a very brief break, and we will see you after to talk about President Weah return to the country.
Hey there. Many Liberians are members of social clubs, 501c NGOs, and school alumni. Many Liberians are trying to open their own 501c NGOs, home care agencies, and social clubs. Does your organization have a professional website? Does your web platform have the right wording and content to attract grants? Hopefully you're not running your organization only through social media. There's a more professional route. You need an online space where you can craft a positive message about your organization, making your home health agency more credible, which will increase your chances to receive grants. We'll build you a responsive platform for 501c organizations, healthcare agencies, and other types of organizations. We'll provide you with full website maintenance, membership sign-in, private charts, Facebook and WhatsApp integration, live video feed for all your meetings and special occasions, a dashboard for members to see all the activities, and email and text auto reminders for meetings. We'll build with donors and 501c in mind, and will help you solicit grants and automatic membership due collections. Building you this amazing platform will only be a membership fee of $19 a month. Call or email us now. Let's upgrade your website. Home health agencies and small businesses, you owe it to your company to project the best image possible, and we can make it happen. Visit www.tiamit.com or call 215-966-8679. Ask for Tommy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching the Hard Zone on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. My name is Derek Yale, and I'm here with the Lord Mayor of Bentor, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. You listened to our last conversation, and we'd like to usher you into the next one, talking about President George Weah returning from his 48 days trip abroad. But before we get into that conversation, I would like for us to actually start up with what the president did before he left from the US. So that's part of his trip. So I would like to start our panelists up with the president activity before he left to Liberia. The president hosted a town hall event in Washington, D.C., where he spoke to audience of Liberia, diaspora Liberian, specifically in the United States. And that event was actually met with a lot of people commended the president for giving his people the audience, while other people feel like the president refusal to take questions from the audience is a disappointment, and they were disappointed in President George Weah action. So I want for our panelists to give their take on that, and before we can get into other issues, especially the president arrival to Liberia and what he did. But let me start up with you, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. Specifically on that event, a town hall event, as we know it, it should be like an exchange between whoever hosting it, in this case, the president and the people. But what do you make of the event in the first place?
Oh, the town hall that was held here in Washington, D.C. when
he came, yes.
Well, we all know George Weah, or President Weah. He has a hard time, facing the Liberian people. And from time to time, whenever there's a national crisis, he take record messages, and then they play it for the Liberian people to listen to. So I wasn't surprised that at that town hall, the opportunity wasn't given to some Liberians, even though there were a bunch of sedition over there, as I understand it. I stand to be corrected, but it was a friendly crowd. Even as that, they never gave people the opportunity to ask the hard questions. And it was unfortunate, and as usual, when a town hall of that nature is called by the president and mindful of the time, instead of engaging the Liberian people, it is an opportunity for him to set a grievance. He's a grievance-laden president. That's what he does. He criticized who's criticizing him, forgetting to know that if he occupies that position, he's open to satirical comments. And my expectation was he could have used out all of the criticism regarding his travel, the time he spent out of the country. He could have used that opportunity to at least give some assurance to the Liberian people that all what he did abroad wasn't in vain. And from time in time, that's what he doesn't rise to the occasion. He fumbles the ball, for lack of a better term, and then his stooges and apologists come to do more than money quarterbacking. That's the unfortunate part.
Let me stay with you. Don't you think we should at least commend the president for giving the people audience to maybe hear him out, or maybe I don't know the reason for him not taking question? But don't you think we should commend him, because the last time he came here, he did not do that?
Oh, actually, my friend Ajerun Anasta Chedi was the brainchild behind that. He works at the Liberian embassy. He insisted on doing that. That's my friend. I know him. We communicated on that. And they said we're going to look good for the president to do it. And he reluctantly accepted. And forget about the whatever was done in the background, to bring him to that point. But my insistence here was it could have been an opportunity for him to directly speak to the Liberian people. At that time, we already have the censor, issue, all the different constitutional opposition, impending demonstration. There are a host of national issues that he could have spoken directly to Liberian people to at least alleviate their concern, or to give them some hope. If you are a leader of a country, you are not in the opposition. You are like the father figure of the nation, a calming voice. You understand? You are the one at the helm of authority. But oftentimes, like I said, every time he's given the opportunity, it's us against the mentality. He goes in the combative mode. He calls names. He is like he has something to settle or score to settle. And I think it's unprecedented, and it is regrettable that every time he's given the opportunity, he doesn't come true, and it's unfortunate. And I really don't want this show to be about George Weah versus the Liberian people.
Thank you.
This is why I come up to tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Father Mitchell Crawford. And let me take this time to welcome Reverend Addy to the program. Reverend Addy, welcome to episode 5 of the Hazan.
Thank you very much to all of the wonderful panelists and those who are watching.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much, Reverend Addy. And we're talking about the president while he was here in the U.S., and we'll be talking about what he did when he returned to Liberia. And at this point, let me come to you, Gloji. Talk to us about the president town hall events that were hosted in Washington. And I had the privilege to watch the program, and I heard the MC for the night telling us that the president will not be able to take questions. But let me give you the opportunity to talk to us and talk to the Hazan audience about that event.
I think the president was prepared to take questions. Remember that these events are time constraints. There are banning constraints attached to these type of events, and because of those constraints, the program itself we actually exceeded the time for the program, and so the audience, or some of the Liberians or many people in the audience, were having a time enjoying, the lecture the president had, and the president did mention that he wanted to have an interactive dialogue with people at the event. That was the purpose. But because of time constraints, the organizer of the event did not want to lose a future opportunity of having the president come back, because the president office, the office of the president, had given a particular time that the president will be available for that event. And so once the organizer went beyond the scope of time presented, the program had to, come to a conclusion, and so that the next time the president will be able to come given the time that was allotted. And I think there was some lesson learned in terms of the time management of the program, and you will see the president being fully engaged when he returns to the United States. The president has done this thing many times. This is not strange. He was really looking forward to having such a time. He's done that before, even when he was in opposition.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Bloje. Let me hold you right there, because we don't have a lot of time allotted for that part of the conversation. So I would like to come to you right away, Bishop Hager, to talk to us about the town hall event that the president hosted for him in diaspora Liberia in Washington, D.C.
Well, I was looking at a CDC meeting because, and I will speak to all the different, we are stakeholders here. We were never informed. The meeting, those who went there, maybe they have certain reason why they went there, but we were going to come there because on a related level and on the community level, we are very active player in the Liberian community. We wanted to come there to respect the presidency, regardless of my political view. George Weah, His Excellency, is the president of Liberia, and I have to respect that office. So we will have been very honored to have the protocol section to allocate enough time. I saw the president in other country that he spoke to the Liberian people. He interacted with them. Okay? And it is a good thing for people in the diaspora to hear and connect with their president. We are the biggest and the most important Liberian community outside of Liberia. We contribute almost 35% to the GDP of Liberia in terms of direct money we send. We are concerned about where our nation is. So I thought it's complete disingenuous for Roger to say the time constraint. Listen, you are meeting with the Liberian community every time, and I will go back. Every time Ellen Johnson Sirleaf was president, every time she came here, she interacted with the Liberian community. She respected the community. She honored the community. So if John Weah cannot meet with us and he just got to come and make some kind of speech and just run away from even a sedition, his own sedition, he ran away from there. What more about us that have different political views? You are not prepared to meet with us. Thank you.
Let me stay with you. I'll give you 10 seconds to respond to this. Just like the president not taking questions from the audience, would you commend him for at least hosting that town hall event?
But Boloje just said that the president was actually managed. It was something that they felt was politically correct. Not that he wanted to do it, so they had to bring him and show him to the Liberian people. Not that it was planned. If it was planned, they were going to allocate time for it.
Reverend Adi, thank you very much, Bishop Hager. Let me come to you, Reverend Adi. Give us your take on the president town hall event that was hosted in Washington, D.C.
Well, thank you very much. First of all, I want to extend my heartfelt sympathy to the family of Dr. Cassell. I pray that God continues to comfort them in this time of grief. First of all, it was a great town hall meeting for seditions. It did not incorporate a broader section of the Liberians in the diaspora. And what I saw there was one of this organization. I saw my friend and brother, Bill J, being the MC of that meeting, which was a very good MC he was. But I did not see a president meeting a cross-section of his citizenry other than those who support him. And that was quite disappointing for me. It is my hope that next time he comes back, he will have, the religious community of Liberians invited. You have ULA's presence there. I didn't see ULA's people. I didn't see the religious leaders there. All I saw were sympathizers of CDC. So that was not a town hall to engage a cross-section of the Liberian people. And as a matter of fact, I hope my brother Blue Jay can speak to the fact that Monique Ishien was not allowed to enter the meeting. Why was that? Was it because it was a sedition town hall meeting, or was it a town hall meeting for all Liberians?
Luigi, you have a question. I will give you 30 seconds, and then we'll move on from there. Would you like to respond to that?
No, I think again we're having a lot of misunderstanding here. The town hall meeting, like I said very clearly, the president wanted to engage with all Liberians to have an interaction. We saw the president in Europe interactive with all Liberians. We saw him in Morocco. He took questions. So the president was not adverse to taking questions from Liberians.
Logic, can you respond to the question?
We have to clarify this so that it can be clarified. The president was not adverse. The program was intended for the president to have an interaction. That's why he wanted. But the time that was allotted for that program, the organizer of the event went above that time. And that's why. So the president still want to have that audience. So let's clarify that. Secondly, the announcement for the program was posted on social media. It was publicly posted for all Liberians to attend the event. So it was not secret. Let's clarify that. Announcement was made on some radio stations and television stations. There was no secret about it. Let's clarify that. Thirdly, EULA was invited. EULA had a representative there. The vice chairman, other people from EULA was there. EULA was notified to inform all the Liberian Association, which is under EULA, all the various Liberian chapters. It was EULA responsibility to assure the organizer. So all these things were done. So if anybody, so it was not the organizer's fault that other people did not show up. All Liberians group were present. All groups were present. Lofa County Association, national leadership were there. All Liberian groups or tribal groups leadership were there. Those who wanted to come came. You can't force people to come to an event. Now the question of Monique Kishen, I don't know the specific of Monique Kishen's situation because I wasn't there what actually happened to Monique Kishen. Although I did see him outside, was talking about an accreditation issue. He wanted to to have an exclusive coverage of the event. I think he had a media accreditation problem. They was allowing people to the program as citizens to come, Liberian citizens, but I think Morning Kitchen wanted an exclusive rights at the podium to cover the event. And the organizer said, the Morning Kitchen, we already have accredited people that are covering this event. If you wanted to be at the podium, you cannot be allowed at the podium. You should have
That's a lie, Bloji. I'm sorry.
Bloji, are you
I'm telling you what happened. I'm telling you what happened.
Eula had no representation over there.
Eula was there. Eula represented spoke at the event.
The gentleman.
No. We're gonna stop this just because you want to make joke. Eula representative spoke at the event. Go and watch the video. They were present. The Eula president was present. He wrote a response to the organizer. He named the people who were going to represent Eula. They were there. They spoke at the event. The Eula people were called on stage. They spoke. So he wasn't there. Don't say it's lie. There's a problem with Liberians. You were not to the event. You don't know what happened. He's saying it's a lie. Come on now. There are video evidence to show this fact.
Speaking of video evidence, you provided clarification on why the president didn't take questions. You said that the president wanted to take questions from the audience.
Of course.
And from the very video you're talking about, after the MC has said that the president, due to time constraints, the president will not be taking questions. Yes. The president sat there and listened to the next speaker for the entire time. And I watched the president spoke for, I think, 5 to 6 minutes.
The president did not speak after that.
But he sat there. You were talking about time constraints, and the president sat for 5 to 6 minutes to
listen. 5 minutes. Come on now. What are you talking about?
No.
The program had to end.
Listen. The president sat there for 5 to 6 minutes listening to this person give a testimony on how the president helped him. But the president could not take question. And I'll ask you a question at the end. A town hall event, the president spoke for over an hour. If he wanted to take questions from the audience, don't you think he would have spoken for maybe 30 minutes and take questions? Or he didn't know how long that event was planned for?
Well, again, like I said, the organizer of the event, there were a lot of other, I can't explain to you or the situation, but I'm telling you that the president wanted to take questions after. In fact, that person who spoke should not have spoken. The program had ended at that point. He said 5 minutes. What is 5 minutes? That person came out, or this guy who had a situation, the president helped him out. The program had ended. It went beyond the protocol. That program went beyond the protocol. The organizers were very keen because when the president gave you a time to host an event, you don't want to go above that time because you want the next time.
Thank you.
And the organizer were negotiating for another time for the president to come. And hopefully, the lesson learned from this event will be corrected so that next time the president would definitely do what he wanted to do. And we all was interested. We all are interested in the president. The president answered. You saw the president Europe answering questions.
Thank you.
Answering questions.
Thank you. Lord, I would like for us to move on to the next conversation. And I mean, it's very simple as ABC. If the president wants to take questions from Liberian people, there are a lot of different means, a lot of different ways. That should be one of the easiest things for the planning committee for that program. But let's move on. On other topic, the president yesterday dedicated a 100-bed Emory Hospital in Bapolu County. So let's talk about that. There has been a lot of talks about the hospital. And a lot of people say this is really good for the president, this is really good for the country, and a lot of people will benefit from that. I want to get your thoughts on that, the dedication of the 100-bed Emory Hospital in Bapolu County. Should we commend the president or should we criticize him? Let's start with you, Bishop Hager.
Well, the government has responsibility to provide services for his people. I don't know what I would need to commend the president. This is something that the resources came from the taxpayer. the money that the government collects from the Liberian people. It is in the responsibility of the government to provide these services. Liberia is such a poor country, and the health status of our nation, our people, is so much in a very terrible state. So whatever can be done to improve the health delivery sector of our country would be good. I will hope, because in addition, providing the building, the facility is good, but what about the sustainability of those buildings, the institution? We do have in our country today a lot of health institutions that are really in dismal state, and they don't even have simple thing like just the first aid kit when people get problems. It is a good thing, and I hope, and I don't want to sound negative, but the reality is that building a building and use it as a political tool is not what we're interested in. We want a functional health delivery system. Look to where I come from in Kakata. Today, if you go to the CH Rennie Hospital, say it got burned the other day, it is still in dismal state. When you go there, people are completely they don't have no ability to provide. Kakata is a very big city. Building a 100-bedroom hospital in Bobolu. When I look at, honestly, looking at the population of Bobolu, looking at where it's situated, I don't know whether it is a right investment of our resources. Because sometimes, and I say this to tell you that the Joseph F. Doe Hospital in Tapetap, the occupancy rate is just like 30%. The people are not using the hospital because the population is low. So building,
Thank you, bro. I'm sorry, Bishop. Well, I will come back to you. Let me come to you, Reverend Adi. The president dedicated state-of-the-art 100-bed Emirate Hospital in Bobolu County. Talk to us about that.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the president of the UAE for donating that hospital to Liberia. And I certainly thank the president for going there to dedicate the hospital, which is a gift to us from the UAE. So that's good, because it serves a greater purpose and greater good of the Liberian people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Adi. You really struck a very interesting point. But let me come to you, Flo J. Choppy Charlie. I would like for you to talk to us about the president dedicating state-of-the-art 100-bed Emirate Hospital in Bobolu County. The Reverend just said is a gift from the people of UAE, and he said his gratitude there. But talk to us about it.
The reality is that I don't care how much one has to refuse to give this president credit for development in the country. The reality will not escape those people who need this development and for whom the president has done this development for. That gratitude will not escape them. The reality will not escape them. And so we are very excited that today the region and the Bobolu people, since more than 200 years, this country was established. You can have people in our section of the country at least have access to what could be construed as a real estate. It's a state-of-the-art hospital at that level. And it's a very good thing. It's going to help the bleeding of people coming from far away places. It's going to save a lot of lives. It's going to mitigate a lot of hardship. It's going to increase living conditions of people. It's going to reduce expenses on people, because just moving from Bapolu, that region, part of Lofa is also going to benefit from that. Bombing is going to benefit. Kipma is going to benefit. Just coming all the way to Morovia, these people now is going to cut down the stress of living. So we celebrate. It's a very great thing that's happening to the people in that region, and we can only hope that the president will continue to do this type of development for the country, and it will be sustainable so that the people can continue to enjoy, at least feel good that they are citizens of a country.
Thank you very much, Lord Chopichade. And of course, I would like to come to you, the Lord Mayor of Ventura, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. Talk to us about the president dedicating state-of-the-art 100-bed Emirate Hospital in Bopolo County.
Why you guys all just fixated on the state of the art? But on a serious note, though, in 2014, according to the World Health Organization, we had 300 doctors in Liberia for a population of 4.5 million people. That is based on the 2008 census. You would think, and this is not just George Weah problem. And speaking of gifts, the Japanese government donated a retention hospital. This is something that, countries, give to poor countries. So it's not just George Weah term that they're gifting us like they have happened before. It will look bad for me to criticize the construction of a hospital. I don't want to say state of the art because they said the same thing for the 14 military hospital in Shofring. They said it's going to be state of the art. JFK, which is the largest hospital in Liberia, they don't have enough drugs. There's no dialysis machine. Like the only dialysis machine we have was at the Tapita Hospital, but now it's lying in dormant. It's not operational. Liberia has one of the highest infant mortality rate. There are underlying issues that is really serving as a constraint on our health problems. And I don't think the physical building itself should not be a celebration. What this government should be concerned about is making drugs available in the already hospital that we have existing. My aunt attended TNI, the Atomic National Institute of Medical Arts. Look at TNI today. It is woefully underfunded. Elder Bishop, you talk about the CH Rennie Hospital in Mangibi, or I think Buchanan or Mangibi, right? Kakata. It got burned some almost a year plus now. It is yet to be renovated. It's partially renovated. Where are the government priorities? What are they prioritizing? I think it's dedication of political stunt. And if you be in the opposition, that the way some classify us, and you speak against it and say, well, I don't want to give the man his flower. That's not the case. Building hospitals and the people, Samuel Tua was involved in an accident. Where is he seeking treatment today? He went abroad to seek treatment. If we have state-of-the-art hospital, like you just alluded to, why is he seeking treatment? If George Weah gets sick today, he leaves the country. Every government official that gets sick, they leave the country. The typical Liberian, if you have a medical emergency and you don't pay $25 United States dollars, you will die. These are places that the government should be looking at how to subsidize the health care for the Liberian people. Instead of building places and go on to, this is a state of the art. It's not solving the healthcare need of the people. I'm sorry. It's unfortunate. That shouldn't be our focus. And unfortunately, this is where I come down to. Every time we dedicate a building, it was 14 military hospital. They say, oh, the army people are going to be taken care of. Today, one army man can't even go to the place. I don't think the guy even says doctors over there.
Thank you, Bobby. Thank you so much, Bobby. Well, guys, let me point this out though. The president, the opposition community, for a fact, always coming down hard on this president that he's not doing the Liberian people job. But here is this president dedicating a state-of-the-art hospital in Bopolo. First of its kind in that county. Now, don't you think it's time for us as Liberians to put aside politics, to put aside all of the other stories that surrounding this hospital, and just celebrate this for the people of that county, because somebody's going to benefit from that hospital. Don't you think we should celebrate the president or commend the president for doing this? And I would like to come to you, Reverend Adi. Do you think it's unfair to what we are asking of the president to criticize him, especially given the fact that he is dedicating this state-of-the-art hospital. Let me come to you. Don't you think that we should come together on this one? Because Liberian, in the end, benefits. Don't you think it's time that we come around the president on this one and say kudos to him?
So what? So what I did was to join the president in thanking Sheikh Mohammed bin Al Zayed.
It seems like you're taking credit from the president.
No, I'm not.
But when the
president went to dedicate the hospital, he said, "Let me, in this public manner, thank Sheikh Mohammed Zayed Al Benlihan," and I did that. And I also said I congratulate the president for dedicating the hospital. Now, like it or not, it is because of his administration's negotiation that led to this hospital coming there. So I didn't take any credit away from the president.
Thank you.
I joined him in saying thank you.
Thank you for pointing that out. Let me come to you, Bishop Higa. And don't you think it's unfair to the president, especially you being very critical of the president, and he's not dedicating a state-of-the-art hospital in Bobolu County? The previous administration did not take hospital to Bobolu County. Don't you think you specifically should be commending this president and even join the celebration dance with sympathizers of the administration?
Well, I said that it is a good thing for the people of Bobolu. I also wanted to say, I think the government has a responsibility to provide those services for the people. It would be disingenuous, and I repeat, for President Weah to get whatever political gain out of this dedication. And I will say this: every time President Weah speaks, he speaks in a divisive tone. When he came back from the state, he went to our Bishop Wango Church. What he said there, it was not bringing the country together.
If the president decides, he
is the president of Liberia. He decides to start speaking to bring Liberian together. We are going to join him. But if you play listen to me,
Bishop Higa, we are on the conversation about the hospital. We will get there. For me, it's a good thing. But President Weah should not get any benefit. Period. On the hospital alone, just the hospital. How would you rate the president?
Why? It is his administration. Even if it's not there, like we're voting on the oven next year, other president comes, there will still be a hospital for other places.
All right, let me come to you, Blue Jay Chubby Charlie. I think you've heard your fellow panelists. Now, the same question? Don't you think that it's time that Liberians, irrespective of our political ideology or political institution, don't you think it's time that, since we're putting Liberia first, to come and join the president or sympathize of the administration to thank this president and cheer this president and commend this president for job well done on the dedication of this hospital? Look at Charlie.
Somebody said somewhere that one of the serious problem Liberia has a problem of patriotism, and we are unable to dismiss our political prejudice. We are unable to sidestep our political bias. We are unable to elevate ourselves on the platform of patriotism and embrace a patriotic national actions, and just simply celebrate that. And this is a problem we have in the country. So good things, we still want to put a political spin on it and try to color it in a negative way. So it's not surprising to me that people are unable to detach themselves and come, just let's celebrate what a wonderful thing that has happened to poor people in the country for all these years that a country has been existing, or a nation has existed. I mean, let's put aside our biases, our politics, and just let's celebrate ordinary people, because this thing is going to really help people that are suffering. I mean, let's think about the suffering people who don't have the basic assets to health delivery system. We should be commending this effort, celebrating it, and even asking for more to be done in our directions to help the people of the country.
When the Unity Party dedicated the Jackson Hebdo, what would the CDC respond?
Wait, is this about?
No,
Is this like a party? Is this like a party?
He want to school out in patriotism. Let him answer that question right now.
The CDC did not have a negative response to that. so that's a problem.
Let's put some sense on this conversation. Let's bring it home. Logic. As much as we beat on people for not celebrating with the president, after they are done celebrating or criticizing the president, let's face reality. We've heard this cry before. We heard this joyous cry before about the 14 military hospital. And Bobby Mitchell Crawford just talked about some facility in Liberia currently, the JFK. We saw a news article of a patient jumping out of JFK for not being able to afford $30 for hospital bills. We have heard several stories about lack of medications or health equipment at JFK. And on top of that, with the same state-of-the-art 14 military hospital, when your finance minister had that unfortunate accident, he traveled abroad. Now, here's another state-of-the-art hospital. How would you like address someone who argues that this is just a political stunt? How would you address that?
Again, the criticism is not born in reality, because nation, we have to emphasize this point every day, and we gotta keep beating this drum. Liberia is at a new birth. We are dealing with bad legacy of governance. We are trying to solve bad legacy problems. At the same time, we are trying to build new things. At the same time, we're trying to manage all kinds of competing problems with a small revenue space. It's just not possible to solve this problem. These are not easy nation building challenges that this government is facing, this president is facing. If every government for the past 200 years have been solving this problem gradually, we wouldn't be dealing with all these problems in one shot. So these problems are not going to be solved.
I don't mean to.
They will not be solved. They will not be solved overnight. That's
you always go on this ride.
But that's a fact. That's a fact.
I'm not arguing. Let's talk about the facts. Let's talk about the facts going on currently.
But that's a reality I'm talking about. You cannot solve the problem now.
One of the steps your government took to solve the problem of health care in Liberia was the 14 military hospital. You had several weeks bragging about the 14 military hospital, but your finance minister thought he was too good for that hospital.
No.
Is it going to be the same?
That's a misunderstanding again. That's a misunderstanding. The 14 military hospital, the 14 military hospital is built to handle specific medical situation. The situation with the finance minister was beyond the 14 military hospital. 14 military is still functioning. It's still serving the purpose. It's still serving the purpose. It's still serving its purpose. The 14 military hospital is not abandoned. The 14 military is not functional.
Let's move on, Logic.
It's still working. It's still delivering the service for which it was built to deliver. So it's still working.
Logic, let's move on. And I'll just like to say that I think it's a good thing for the people of Babolu County that they have a hospital of their own, and I hope, it is my hope, that they don't experience the same thing as people that are in close proximity to that of JFK and all of the other hospitals that are going through constraints. So I hope that this state-of-the-art hospital will be able to solve that problem, that our official will not use taxpayer money to travel abroad for health care.
If I may, quick, 2 seconds up. I don't want to be the Grinch that stole service delivery to the Liberian people. We celebrate the hospital. But whenever anything that has to do with development, whether the school, hospital is elevated for national discussion, you can't help but try to expose some of the constraints and ills that the nation is faced with. And me indicating all of what I just indicated here, these are reality, and I'm hoping that the CDC government can look at some of these things that we're pointing out to see if they can find a solution for them. You talk about constraints. I mean, the last time I checked, the budget is hovering around 700 million. Unlike the alien government, at that time they have 500 million. So you guys are a little bit of a surplus. That's where priority comes in. Look at the health budget, and this is a valid criticism. You know, the information minister just earlier, I mean, few days ago, came on air. He said that $17,000 they gave ministry to operate. They're supposed to be the information disseminating arm of the government, and they are woefully underfunded. So those are all places. These are things, a valid argument that we come out with. It has nothing to do with hating the country. It has nothing to do with not exhibiting nationalism, like you said. And I must caution you, dissent is the highest form of patriotism. We all have different political orientation, and I will keep emphasizing that. What you see, I don't see it. You know, your patriotism might be different from mine. So you cannot question my love for my country and everything I do is criticized. No. But we are looking at the ills that exist in the society and we speak against it. So whenever national development of this nature is elevated for discussion, we can't help but show some of the ills and I'm hopeful that the government can be able to find solutions to them. That's all we're doing here, my brother. No one is criticizing George Weah for dedicating the hospital. We commend him, in fact.
Thank you very much, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. And let me draw our attention to the president return. Upon his return to Liberia, the president took a shot at the opposition community. Well, first and foremost, he outlined the benefits of his trip. So I'd like to mention that and also talk about the shots that he took at the opposition community. He commented on the just ended protest of the CPP and /ANC, the retired suffering protest. He also took a shot at Representative Yeke Koluba. So guys, if you listen to that clip, if you read the president's speech on the executive mansion page or had the opportunity to watch that video, I'd like for you guys to give your take on it. But I'd like to start with you, Bloji. Talk to us about this president trip, the overall expenses, benefits, if you can, and also on the comments he made in the church the other day.
No, I mean, I don't know what to make of because the president. I think the fact that the president is responding to these things indicates that the president is paying attention to what is happening in the country. If the president was not paying attention, according to what the critics have said, he wouldn't be able to respond to these things that is ongoing in the country. And I think any president should be able to respond, especially to people who are critics. There's nothing wrong with a president responding to criticism. I mean, we see that all over the world. President do respond to opposition charges. So I don't see it as being abnormal. I don't see it as a problem. I think the president should even do more. I mean, the president has to be able to explain himself. So in terms of the benefit of an international trip that a president makes, this benefit does not show itself up immediately. These are bilateral discussions that take a time for it to unfold. And for example, we now see the Emirate engagement with the president. It took a long time when the president did make those trip or engagement. You know, we've seen the benefit of those of such an engagement. So we will see the effects of the president trip. One of the things that even happened with the president trip abroad, and the president has been criticized for a very long time that he would never meet with the United States president, that he was unable to meet with the United States president or even had a photo up with the United States president. We saw the president in the Oval Office. We saw the president in the Oval Office of the United States president. I think that alone shattered the myth from the opposition.
Was that the Oval Office? The weather picture where the president had a photo?
The president did go there. Yes, he did go there. That was the Oval Office.
Yeah, but what do you make of
the forum? So whatever information you give is going to be valid. It got to be verified.
We had to fact check.
Not even verified. There was the African Leader Summit. Not just Joshua went to see the president. Everybody went over there in our office. So he meeting and watching football game with Joe Biden. Was there any bilateral cooperation at that meeting? That was just a mere meeting, my brother. So to celebrate that, it's just funny. Because almost all the leaders had access to Joe Biden. All the people that went for the conference, they took pictures. So you celebrating that as a win, I mean, it's laughable.
Well, somewhere I saw, and I don't take my word on this, but they said that was in the Oval Office.
Whether it was it or not, it makes no sense to even mention.
No, I'm just saying, I'm not saying it like brings any benefit to the conversation or not saying that. But Blojo, let me stay with you though. What do you make of the president comment on a lawmaker referring to him as a psychopath? What do you make of that?
I mean, describing people's behavior. I mean,
he didn't describe. He called him a psychopath.
But yeah, that's describing his behavior. I mean, if people display certain tendency or certain behavior, anybody can be free to describe that person as the thing the person should be. And if you saw a lawmaker, I mean, let's be honest, Yaga Koluba, he is a vocal lawmaker, but his representation has not been one of distinguishing the office for which he represents. He used all kinds of foul language, which is not. I mean, as he should be he should be a mentor for young people who are aspiring to run for public office, and even ordinary citizens in the country. I mean, you can still be strong in your criticism and condemnation of the president. We're all using the kind of vocabulary that he does. He uses all of the time. It shows a state of insanity. It definitely shows what the president correctly described him to be. So I don't have a problem with that description.
So you in other words commend the president for.
I think the president was right on the description.
You were right. Okay, all right. Let's move on. Let's come to you, Reverend Adi. Talk to us about upon the president return. He laid out his achievement or the benefit of his trip, and he landed several commitments, and also he made several comments. He sort of body shamed some of the opposition leaders, and he specifically called Yeke Koluba a psychopath. What do you make of all of those events?
Well, first of all, I'll encourage the president to go and read the definition of a psychopath, and he wouldn't have described Mr. Koluba by that. Secondly, for a president to go out of his own country for 48 days when the Constitution allows him 7 days, and after anything, he pays out of his pocket. He comes back and he misses a golden opportunity to address a cross-section of the Liberian people. The people who went on the stadium to demonstrate that they're tired of suffering, he left their sentiments and politicized the response to personality attacks, among other things. I think it was a missed opportunity for him to address the plight of the Liberian people, the suffering people who went on that stadium. They were not all Cummings people. They were people from all walks of life, telling their president that his policies have not improved their well-being. And so for him to come back and focus his responses to that of the Mr. Koluba and, calling people names, I think was a missed opportunity. And, I cannot blame Bloje as my friend and brother. Liberia, since the war, we have been used to so much mediocrity. So when we see pictures of the U.S. president and our president, we are very excited for that. May I remind Mr. Bloje, my friend and brother, that whilst our president was taking picture, Mozambique was signing deal with Tesla.
Bingo.
At the very African summit. Mozambique, for them to buy the graphite to produce electric cars from Mozambique. But we're taking pictures, and I'm excited, for the photo ops. But we would like to see more in terms of tangibles that come back to Liberia. Thank you
very much, Reverend Adi. Before I come to you, Bobby and Bishop Hagan, we ran out of time for this discussion, so we will take a very brief break, and when we come back, we will continue on this conversation, and we will tie that in with security concerns in Liberia. So if you're watching us, engage the program in the comment section, and you're still watching The Horizon on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. We'll take a brief break and see you after.
Hi, my name is Theophilus Julipon Nelson I. I am the founder and CEO of Lift Africa LLC. Lift Africa started as an employment agency and has sought the employment of immigrants coming to the U.S. and finding ways and means to be able to start life in this great country. Now we have added airport pickups and drop, car rental, hall rental. As you see, we have a new business location. We started with just a little office part, but today we have a whole complex that we can do a lot of stuff with.
Hello everyone, my name is Geneva Krantz. I'm the Executive Administrator of Uplift Africa. We have an excellent employment rate at our company. We work with and for you regardless of your situation. If you've ever been in prison, maybe your background isn't great, do not worry. We have a place for you here. We believe in equal opportunity for everyone, especially you. So sign up today and begin earning.
My name is Emmanuel B. Horton, Operational Director for Live Africa. Live Africa is the place to be.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Wherever you're watching us from, this is the Liberia Radio and Television Network presenting to you episode 5, season 2 of The Horizon. Here at The Horizon, you know there's no gimmick, no fluff, just real talk. I have with me my co-host, the Lord Mayor of Dental, Bobby Beecher Crawford. And before we took a break, we were discussing the president return to Liberia. Before I go to the next panelist for their contribution, let me urge you again to go in the comment section and leave us your thoughts on the president trip and the return. And also you can follow the network on Facebook and YouTube. And remember to always share the program. Let's get back to our discussion. Let me come to you, Bobby Beecher Crawford. The president, upon his return, laid out the achievement he got from his trip, and he also took shots at the opposition community. He body shamed some of the opposition leaders, and he specifically referred to a lawmaker in person of Yeke Koluba as a psychopath. Talk to us about that.
Well, imputing a satirical comment toward your political opponent is nothing new in politics, but what is disappointing is the blatant lie that he told the Liberian people. We all know that Liberia did not pass the Millennium Challenge, and that one of the reasons why, there are several reasons why they did not receive any aid from the United States government. So to come back to the Liberian people and say the Kingdom of Qatar promised 100 million, these other people promised 20 million. It's all a blatant lie. And that's what the president does repeatedly. Every time there's something that they want to investigate this, and now what happens. And I think it's an affront to the Liberian people that we know. I mean, it's insulting to our intelligence. There's nothing that was done in secrecy at that leadership, like Africa, USA leadership summit. All of the countries that received financial assistance was in the newspaper. Liberia received 0. So to go at that church facility, to just stand at that podium and just lie to Liberian people, I think was very insulting to begin with. You could have used that, what the Reverend said, you could have used the opportunity to at least speak directly to Liberian people. Before he left or while he was away, we had a census situation. He completely left that. This is a grievance-laden president. Whenever he mounts the podium, it's all about him. When he has to pull a grievance out there. Oh, what am I doing, this and that? And it doesn't. When you are a leader of a country, you should be sensitive to the plight of the people. The Reverend just talked about the retire campaign. Whether they had enough crowd, if it was just 3 Liberians that attended that rally, it would have been a clearing call to him, we are and his people, to say, you know what, I'm not indifferent to the suffering of the Liberian people. I understand there are severe hardship in the country. Speak to the conscience of the nation. But he doesn't do that. Every time he mounts the podium is about a grievance and calling names. We can't continue down the route. It's unfortunate. And I'm just going to pause and let the bishop take it home for us.
Yes, let's come to you, Bishop Hager. Talk to us about the president laying out his achievement from his trip and taking a shot at the opposition community, specifically Representative Yeke Koluba. And also, I'm not sure if you watched the clip. He also took a shot at the
Cummings. He said he was a short man.
At Cummings and that of Joseph Yuma Boaka. Talking about his
Napoleon Bonaparte was a short man. Albert Einstein was a short man.
You just took. So yeah, let me come to you, Bishop Hager. Talk to us about it. He took a start.
My friend and brother, Reverend Ade, spoke very well on the issue. In addition, the Lord Mayor already spoke on an issue that I want to talk about. The only addition I want to make, it was relating to the place, the church, and I do honestly respect Archbishop Weah is a spiritual leader, spiritual father, and I will hope, because the church played a very pivotal role.
It's compromised. That's not a correct
in Liberia. I will hope that with the level of respect that he has among Liberian Archbishop Weah, we want to give some spiritual advice to his tribal man. I know they all come from the southeast there, and maybe because of some political or tribal connection, you will want to play a blind eye to that. But it was very much inappropriate for the President of the Republic coming in the church. And
he said it was the Thanksgiving service.
Going so low like that. Everybody know I don't support George Weah, but and I'll be very clear, I still respect the presidency. He is the president of Liberia. While outside the country, so many things happen. The nation is divided. He's a father figure. We will hope that he will come and cool down the temperature, speak to us, and bring the Liberian to the understanding of patriotism, and let's work together. But he comes and then he puts gasoline on the fire, and then his people will come, oh, you're not patriotic enough. Okay, you carry your school of patriotism and teach your president how to be patriotic. Teach him how to rule a nation. Don't come and school us here. He is a leader. He should be working in the area of patriotism. He should know what to say. Not you coming on the platform to tell us how to be patriotic. We are doing so much. Do you know how much investment others doing just to educate boys and girls in Liberia? Do you know how many investment thousands of dollars will pour into that country every day to help our nation to go forward? And somebody got there and say, I need to be patriotic enough. We'll have somebody who come and he know what to say. He just say all kinds of things that really doesn't really make any reasonable sense to anybody. And then somebody come here and tell us, listen, I will hope the religious leaders, and we will be in Liberia, I will go there, and I want to meet with you guys. We got to do something. We're supposed to be guarantor of peace and helping our nation to move forward. We got to speak truth to power. That's what Michael Francis used to do. Michael Francis would speak to Chancellor as it is. And if you go to Chancellor, you can't talk like that. You're president. That's the kind of thing we expect from our religious leader, but most of them have been compromised, taking brown envelope and just allow things to happen. It's totally unacceptable.
Speak, Bishop, speak.
Thank you very much, Bishop Hager. Lord Chubby Child, I would like to give you the opportunity.
Yes, a lot of mumbo jumbo.
Okay.
Let's just try to dismiss all of these issues. One, our brother Ade talks about picture taking as some kind of thing that people are celebrating. No, the reality is the opposition has to take responsibility. They set the standard. When you set a standard, you set a test, and you fill in a test, hold yourself responsible. It was the opposition who has been criticizing George Weah for several years and condemning him that he cannot take even a picture with the President of the United States.
Name one opposition leader that said that.
The opposition has been critical of George Weah. Even when George Weah went at the United Nations, they set this standard, the picture. They set that standard. And so when George Weah passed your test, hold yourself as a failure. Don't get angry as somebody is.
No opposition leader said taking pictures.
They have been critical of George Weah.
Let's protect
So it is your burden. You fail your own test. You fail it. Go down the slaughterhouse. Cry. It is your standard you set.
Let's protect Logie.
So let's deal with all these myths.
It's not a myth.
Indeed is a psychopath. He is a psychopath.
When he became a psychoanalysis,
the definition of psychopath, I don't need to be a doctor. The definition of psychopath tells me who a psychopath is.
It takes one to know.
This man has demonstrated all of the evidence. You have demonstrated all of the evidence that is describing of a psychopath.
It takes
so
one to know.
The present description of him is very valid and accurate on the spot. Now, the president.
Your president is a functional illiterate.
The president coming home and talking about his achievement. The president did not just visit the United States. And somebody say, "Oh, and, the other thing that happened in America, the conference, the African or summit was put on television or his own radio or his own news." The president did not just come to America. Before he came to America, he visited other countries. He had engagement. So he talks about his engagement.
Logic, before you change your thought, though, let's just stay on the issue of Yeke Kolobat. Are you also in support of the president referring to Alexander Cummings as short?
Is Alexander Cummings a tall person?
I'm asking you. Are you in support?
No, I'm asking a question. Is he a tall person?
Do you think that is a statement fitting of the?
That does not contribute to the vibrancy of our nation. Sing that low.
Is he a short person? Is Alexander Cummings is he not a short person?
A height is not the question here.
No, let's answer the valid question first.
So that's the stupidity of the president. The president exhibits. It was a Thanksgiving Sunday in a church edifice.
Bobby, I don't want to cut.
No, let me deal with the mayor.
I'll come to you next. But Logic, are you saying you support the president's state? I knew.
No, it's not an idea of support. It's just a fact that Alexander Cummings is short. Is it a fact? If it's a fact, they don't know what the argument is about. If it's a fact that he's short, then the president's description
has been
the president's facts
to be a president.
Earlier you mentioned opposition leaders should set an example for the youth of Liberia. Do you think the president is setting an example by?
Of course, describing facts, talking facts is not obvious to example. It's fact.
Well, it's fair to call him. He danced. I don't want
you're not talking about when I'm speaking fact. You're supposed to use foul language. Describing a president as the president is not a foul language. That is not a foul language. It's not a foul language. If somebody say Cummings is short, that's not a foul language.
Let's give the opportunity to proceed.
That is not a foul language to describe somebody exactly truly who they are. To say that Alexander Cummings is a short person is not a foul language. Now, in politics, of course, there are instances where political actors or political leaders will also try to demonize an opponent. It's part of the political theater. And so what the president was doing,
that's the appropriate and appropriate time.
You cannot determine the president appropriate. It was
a church edifice. Was supposed to be a
failure of the opposition.
The man was unhinged.
You want to control the third person of the president instead of worrying over what they are capable of delivering for the presidency or what they're capable of doing. You cannot control the president.
Under the influence of alcohol.
You cannot control the president. You cannot tell the president how to speak, especially when the president is not using a foul language.
So whatever he does in public affects Liberian people.
Look, the president is going the country. The president is focusing on
irresponsible manner, Blowjay.
The president is liberating for the people.
Reverend Adi, give us.
And the president will continue to do his work.
Adi, let me come to Blowjay. Let me go to Reverend Adi real quick. Give us your take on this composition. The president was at a church, at a program, a Thanksgiving program, and he made several remarks, some of which we have talked about. And Blowjay is saying that he support the president, and in fact, he said the president was speaking facts. What do you make of that from the president of Liberia, making those statements about opposition leaders and that of the lawmakers?
Well, let me just clarify one or two things before I answer that question. When President Weah came to the United Nations, he was given a C2 visa. A C2 visa is a visa that is given to rogue nations, restricted mobility. Okay, but because of the African summit, yes, he was allowed to come to Washington D.C. And of course, being in Washington D.C., will definitely interact with the president. So we can mix that up. A psychopath and a sociopath, right? Simply means that these people don't have empathy. Let's talk about empathy. If the president of Liberia empathizes so much with Liberian people, would he have left the country for 48 days? If he has so much empathy for the Liberian people, would he have built 48 houses in 1 year? If he has so much empathy for the Liberian people, for the plight that they are going through, would he have not been able to account for $25 million? If this president is saying that Yeke Koluba is a psychopath, which lacks empathy, and the fact that our education is in a complete degradation, who has less empathy for the Liberian people, especially you who have the leadership in your hands? If this president empathizes with the Liberian people, he wouldn't have come back and missed the golden opportunity to speak to his people who came publicly and told the whole world that they're suffering. So who lacks empathy? Is it Yeke Koluba or the president?
Thank you very much, Reverend.
I think
and Blowjay,
man,
let me
close on you by.
We've ran out of time for
yeah,
this.
but the point of quickly respond to this.
I cannot allow
Maybe that was
No. It's quickly because people cannot create a straw man. You cannot create a straw man argument. Make a straw man argument. You cannot create a straw man argument. It's also to be valid. A psychopath is not somebody who lacks empathy. That's not a psychopath. A psychopath is not somebody who lacks empathy. So that's not the meaning of psychopath.
If you're
That's
watching
not the meaning of psychopath. That's somebody who lacks empathy. That's a straw man way of making the argument. You create your own thing and you argue against it.
Listen up, Blowjay. So all of you watching us in wherever you're watching us from, you're watching the Horizon. This is what we're about. No gimmick, no fluff, just real talk. But for now, we will draw the curtain on that conversation, and we will take a brief break. When we come back, we will bring you the next segment on the Hard Zone. Thank you. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You're still watching the Hard Zone on the Liberia Radio and Television Network. We have reached to fans' favorite segment of the Hard Zone, and that is the icebreaker segment. And for today's icebreaker, we have a very interesting question. And before we disclose that to you watching us, we encourage you to go in the comment section and be ready to give us your contribution on the question. And also, you can continue to share the program, continue to like and follow the network on Facebook and YouTube. So the icebreaker question for this episode is, as we close out on this year, that's not part of the question. It said, what should Liberians be leaving behind in 2022? Again, the icebreaker question of today is, what should Liberians be leaving behind in 2022? So that is a very interesting question. I give you guys the opportunity to tell us what Liberians should be leaving behind in 2022. And you have the comment section. I want you to go on to explore that comment section and tell us, give us a list of things that we might not carry to 2023. Let's leave it in 2022. Let me start with you, Blowjay, Choppy, Charlie. Tell us what
I started with me.
Listen, now you're right in front of me. I can go on my left to my co-host, but I won't start with you, Bluetooth.
I don't know. I don't know really
If you
why
want to,
Liberia. There are a lot of issues. I really don't know. I'll just say Liberians don't carry what on patriotic behavior 2023. Yeah, I think so.
thank you. Unpatriotic behavior should stay in 2022. And let me come to you, the Lord Mayor of Bentol. What are some things that you think Liberians should live in 2022?
I don't know what Floyd's definition of patriotic. We don't live here in utopia society or utopian society, you know. So you have element of the certain segment of the population that subscribe to different school or thought that you classify in your opinion to be unpatriotic. Okay, so this is now utopian society, but I will hope that Liberians will not. Let me rephrase it. I will hope, and this is something that I experienced since I've been here Wednesday. That level of ignorance, you know, that we can leave that behind, and that's just. What are you laughing for? I see one thing I'm saying, you know, but unfortunately, it will take a while for that to really be a reality, and we got work to do. And like Afton said earlier, if we're not careful, George Weah will be elected. Because the level of ignorance in our country is just mind-boggling, even for people here in the diaspora. I mean, try to engage in the intellectual exchange, just to be somewhere at their level. It's just, it has nothing to do with education, just common sense. And I'll give you a quick example. This guy said Monrovia City Hall was dirty, the city of Monrovia was dirty. And I said, who responsibility is that? I said, well, the city mayor responsibility. I said, who elected or who appointed rather the city mayor? He said, George Weah. I said, but it's in that George Weah province to recall one of his minister or whatever lieutenant that he places in the position of trust or to do a particular job. And he said, oh, yeah, the president, man, the man's supposed to do a job. And that just level of thinking, that level of ignorance, it's just mind-boggling. And I'm hoping that, you know, Liberians can be able to leave that behind. You know, I can speak to their consciousness to see that, you know, they are voting against their best interests. To put George Weah there for a second term, it would be a mistake.
Thank you very much, the Lord Mayor of Bentol, Bobby Mitchell Crawford. And guys, this is the icebreaker round of the hard zone, and the purpose of this round is to take us away from politics, take us away from the national issues, or all of the nice things we like to talk about as far as national issues are concerned. So the icebreaker round, I will go this time before I come to you, Reverend Editors Addy. Did I say your name right? The first name?
That's fine. So,
I'm not coming to you yet. I was just trying to say,
okay.
I'll come to you, Bishop Vega and Reverend Addy. Let me just say some of the things that I want for us to leave behind. And I will say this very simple. Just recently, I saw on Facebook this man show his house, how he sent 35,000 naira to Liberia. In the whole picture, they're saying, he came in paid 25 for it. So I tell you're taking your own money in Liberia and misusing it or being very dishonest with them. You should do that one in 2022. The second thing, and in the music industry, our upcoming artists signing like Nigerian and Ghanaian, I feel like we should make more typical like brand music, and also make music that people can listen to in the region and in the world at large.
Yeah,
I feel like we should do more in that segment as well. So I feel like we should do that one. We should do that one in 2022.
Yes, sir.
And also, on the issue of bringing our personal business on social media, they'll do that one in 2022 too. And last but not the least, the president will not see enough buka dancing. Kids that made a song, he made a lot of dance for it. He made a lot of songs this year, Rabbi. At time for you to do the people job. Even when a 10 more or 5 more you get left, do something presidential, leave all that childish behavior or that non-presidential things and talking recklessly, leave it in 2022. Then leave all that thing in 2022. But let me come to you, Reverend Addy. Talk to us. What should Liberia live in 2022?
The spirit of disunity and tribalism, unforgiveness, it should be left behind in 2022. The rhetoric of division by our political leaders should be left behind in 2022. The country Congo talk, promoting divisions among our peoples, should be left behind in 2022. Thank you.
Thank you. Bishop Hagar, you're next.
Well, a couple of things come to my mind as Liberians. First of all, I will hope that Liberians will look to countries, those countries that are making progress, and learn from them. Then thinking that Liberia is an island and we can do everything the way we do it Liberian way. Let's look to excellence. We celebrate too much bureaucracy in that country. At every level, you go to Liberia, somebody you want to build a house, this guy wouldn't have one more training as a mason. He said, I can build a house. He come and even building the foundation, you already can look at the foundation where you even need any kind of ruler, but you can know that the wall bent. But that man will tell you that he building the right thing. He knows that he doesn't have the skills. Instead of he going to learn to get excellent skills, it's something that we need to leave behind. That bureaucracy at every level of our country. The idea that we should get free things all the time. People, please leave it behind. We should also be people who are grateful. Even within my own family cycle, people will call me, oh, help us. And you try your best, you send them $100. Then they can't call you back and say thank you. When you call them, they say, oh, I get unit in my phone. But when you never have money, you could call me. But when I send you $100, the money too much for you now, you can't even call back or text to say thank you. So much ungratefulness. We should leave that one behind. Nobody is responsible for you. If somebody help you, appreciate that person. It's very, very important. And I will hope that people will stay with their wives. Too much immorality in our country. Too much the people sleeping with other people's wives. Sleeping and they should leave in 2022. Please. Let us go Christian country. Let practice Christianity. Not just come in the church to preach, but let it live a moral life. Let them stay with their wives. Don't be following behind people's husband or people's wives. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The whole sermon there.
Thank you very much, Bishop Hagar, for talking to our audience on things that they should leave behind in 2022. Before I come to you guys for your closing remarks on the program tonight, let me again encourage the audience to tell us what do you think Liberians should leave behind in 2022. So you have the comment section of the horizon to let that out to Liberians. There are a lot of things that were said on the show tonight, and so give us your thoughts, and we will definitely post it on the show as well. So again, guys, it's been a very fruitful discussion. We talked about a lot of things tonight. So I'd like to take this time to give all of you the opportunity to close out on the final episode of the High Zone in 2022. The next time we'll record another episode will be in 2023. So let me keep that in mind as you close out on this segment. Again, I would like to start with you, Bishop Hagar. Give us your closing remark on this episode and this episode of season 2 of the High Zone.
It's been an awesome time with the Liberian Radio Television Network. We have been privileged to express our view, hoping that those in power will listen to us. We do not hate anybody. We all love Liberia, passionately love Liberia. We don't want any evil to happen to anybody because we don't have the same political view. All we are saying or doing here on this network is to be as honest with ourselves and to speak passionately about our country. So my last word tonight as we end 2022, we wish and hope that our leaders will listen enough and learn from the opposition to learn from the government, and together let's build a functioning country, a country where services are provided for our people. Brothers and sisters, let me let you know, we are not in a good space in terms of development indicators. Liberia is, if I would say, one of the poorest nations in the world. So it's incumbent upon every one of us, especially our government, to manage as my friend and brother Blue just said, the limited economic or financial space that we have. Let's manage it well for our people. People are dying in our country from little or nothing, from diseases that could be treated. People are living on less than $1 a day. Hunger is everywhere. The government, please stop this massive corruption. Help the people, let the country move forward. God bless you. Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bishop Hagar. Let me go to you next, Reverend Adi. Give us your closing remark.
Thank you. It has been a wonderful time with this highly prestigious network, LRTN. And, you have been a great moderator. Thanks to the CEO and all of those wonderful women in the back, Tasha and the other lady. I want to thank you all for the privilege to come and influence, if possible, the minds and hearts of the Liberian people to make an informed decision about their future. We have a clear choice, a choice that has to do with advancing a brighter future for all of you, or remaining in a space of stagnation where corruption is the rule of the day and a culture in this country. I want to encourage all of you to continue to pay attention to the candidates who are in this race. Look at your life and determine, is it better now, or do you have an opportunity to make it better by the choice you make? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Adi, and thank you so much for your contribution on this show as well. So let me come to you now, Loji Choppy Charlie.
Yeah, again, I think it's been a wonderful joining LRT and the hard zone. Very, very wonderful joining. A great spirited debate we've had here. And we want to see the debate grow stronger as we move into a new year. We say best greetings to the ladies in the backstage, our producers, for what a wonderful work that they have done so far, bringing us this far. And also to the audience, I do enjoy the commentary, the comments from the audience. Some of them are very striking, but they are also part of the dialogue and the discord. We do appreciate those commentary. Keep bringing in your comments. We appreciate critical views. It helps to sharpen the contradiction in terms of our responses towards a national conversation. But I'll just leave this for next year. The opposition is going to be struggling to stop George Weah from winning on the first ballot. That's the job they have to do. If they cannot, George Weah is going to win on the first ballot, and election will be over in the first round. If they try hard, we'll have a second round. Good to see everybody, and looking forward to more of the debate next year.
Thank you so much, Loji Choppy Charlie. And it is an honor to have you on this panel as well. So let me move on to the Lord Mayor of Bentor, and thank you for sharing this studio space with me to do the final episode for this year on the Hard Zone. But let me now give you the opportunity to give us your closing statement on this episode on the show tonight.
Thank you, Derek. I think it was a couple of months ago when Mr. Anderson approached me for this show, and we were trying to come up with names, and it's been an awesome journey. My closing remark that I'm hoping, and I know it will happen, that this network will expand to not just serve the people here in the diaspora, because it's Mr. Anderson and the entire team dream that we can be able to be the ELTV for Liberia. That is my hope. It's been an awesome journey. You're an excellent host for the High Zone. And all of the panelists on the show here, you know, from the Reverend to my brother Blowjay, even though we have different political opinion, to Jawinkin Weah and the Bishop, Natasha, Gaffin. I mean, this is a really good team. And I'll be going back to Texas next week. And I've been here for almost a week plus. And Mr. Anderson has been a gracious host. So I'm just thankful and hopeful that this show can expand to serve the Liberian people. We have an election that is coming up. And I will be in Liberia. I don't want to announce my time I'll be in Liberia for security reasons. I don't want Blowjay to call you people and say that.
Don't do that.
So I'm hoping that this network can play a pivotal role in this coming election, and I'm going to be working closely with Mr. Anderson. I know he has planned to travel to Liberia. So that's my closing remark.
Well, thank you so much, Bobby, Mitchell Crawford, and Reverend Adi, Bishop Hagar, Blowjay Choppy Charlie, and Mr. Jawinkin Weah, who's not here for this episode. You guys have been some of the best people I've worked with, especially on this show. Your contribution to this High Zone, this show is second to none, I should say. You guys make the debate very engaging. You help me out as a moderator as well, so I really appreciate your every episode contribution. And to the producer, Natasha, Garfin, and Mr. Anderson, it goes to say that job well done. You guys did extremely well throughout the year shooting this show, and the quality of what you put out there is second to none based on the feedbacks we've gotten from those that that watch us, and also to those of you that support us by watching the program, leaving us your comment. We truly appreciate that. Those of you that follow the network or share the program, we say thank you so much. We extend our deepest gratitude to you as well, and we urge you to continue to do so. And as we close on this episode, we would like to extend a happy New Year on behalf of the network and myself. I would like to say a happy New Year to all of you watching us, to each and every one of you panelists. Mr. Jawinkin, I know you're not here. The producer, CEO of this network, wish you all a happy and prosperous New Year. And of course, we're in the midst of all of this. Our hearts are heavy because we lost a friend of the network, the late Daniel E. Cassell. So we're sending lots of love and prayer for the family. We again extend our deepest condolence, and we pray that you find comfort during this period of bereavement. And that is our heartfelt condolence to the family, to friends, to the party, and we extend our sympathy. And before I draw the curtain on this episode, by way of announcement, I'd just like to re-echo the Calabash. The food pantry from the Calabash is still ongoing every first and third Tuesday, 12 noon to 4 p.m., room 26A, 1716 Terminal Square, Upper Darby, PA. There are a lot of good stuff being offered there, food stuff, and a lot of different trainings. And also you can they have classes to learn how to make some really nice African dish. So that's it for announcement. And before I draw the curtain on this one, I'd just like to say a big thank you to all of you, and have a happy, prosperous New Year. We will see you on the High Zone come 2023.